Good morning! Coming to you live from Axe Media Group headquarters here in the beautiful Springfield, Missouri. It's the Morning Drive with Matt and Jay with your hosts, Matt and Jay! Of course, we got Mr. Yellow himself.
Yes.
A.K.A. Big Bird, A.K.A. Ozark Steve. McAllister is in the show.
That's right. Here I am.
All right. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. I guess it might help if I go ahead and get Axe Radio going.
Yes, that would really help. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing. Now, that's got some really... Did you remix that?
I had so much fun in the studio when we were doing this. So much fun.
Oh, I bet.
I couldn't believe the sound. Okay, as he was doing the... as the audio technician was adjusting the drums, I'm like, how in the world is he making those drums sound like that? They sound completely different. As he was doing it, it's like... It was great.
Wow. It does. It's got some good music, good tune.
And he's not even using a double bass.
Wow.
It sounds like he is, but he's not. That's how good he is. So good morning, everybody on AxeRadio.com. This is Matt, and we are live on Facebook and on YouTube. And if you ever want to see our pretty faces, go to Axe Media Group's Facebook page. I guess that would be Facebook /
We are
Axe Media
live.
Group.
We are live.
Live.
Letting everybody have a little bit of music. I own this song, so you don't have to mute it there, Facebook or... Beautiful day in the neighborhood. So beautiful outside, so chilly. Good morning, Larry. Good morning, Mr. Collins. Dr. Paul. Reaching the world, he says.
I love...
Linda Fleetwood. Jeremiah Humans. Welcome to the party. Welcome to the show. Steve McAllister, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. You can actually hear me now instead of just typing.
Yeah.
You're very welcome.
I died for
It's a
you.
Bad Friday with yours truly, Matt and Jay.
We're finishing up this song. Is that going to be a problem for you guys?
I don't think so. This is the first
I
time
haven't-
I've heard the whole thing.
Really?
Yeah. I'm so used to hearing just the beginning and waiting for that hook, that you say. This is the first time I've heard the whole thing, or at least more of it.
I can actually somewhat play drums to this. Not anywhere near what Barney can. And I did notice that there's one spot that the guy missed as far as auto-tuning the backup vocalists. There's one spot he missed, and it sticks out to me like a sore thumb. Like, that's my thumb and it's sore.
Oh,
But I don't think anybody else really notices it.
that's good. If you're a real musician, you check it out and you notice. If you're not,
Well, the thing about it is, when you record it, you're going to notice it.
right.
But if you're playing live, ain't nobody going to notice it. Nobody.
no, you have to really have a sharp ear and be a musician with a sharp ear to hear something different.
And then some of the other songs I got on here, like this is a classic. I know you've heard this one, haven't you? Jesus, My Lord.
Yes.
Oh, all right. So we're probably boring everybody right at the moment.
Hey, this is one of those Fridays that you just have to mellow out. Right, Jay?
This song, I wrote this not too long after I started doing leading worship and stuff again. And I was very, very thankful. I still am. It really doesn't sound as much like me, but...
No, of course it is. It's a studio. And even when I heard you at Axe Church.
It does sound like it.
But it's just, I don't know what they do that's different that make it sound like that. echo probably.
There's some reverb.
Yeah, I was just gonna say a reverb is what it sounds like.
We need to get some backup vocals in there. I wanna be in one accord.
Love it.
I miss seeing you play worship there at Acts Church.
Huh?
I miss seeing you at Acts Church doing praise and worship. You know, singing with your dad.
Yeah, we'll have to do that again one of these days.
That was awesome.
I remember whenever I was doing this, the microphones that they have in that studio were way better than the microphones we have here.
Right.
I mean, I'm thankful for these. Don't get me wrong. Thank you, God, that we have these.
Amen.
These ones here, though, they had two sides to them, two separate ribbons, I guess.
Yeah.
And when they did the backup vocals on
They're called
I'm Forgiven,
bipolar.
yeah, like my never mind. Stop myself.
Don't do it.
But they had one person on each side of the microphone singing at the same time, and then he went back and played each track back, and you couldn't hear the other one at all.
Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing to me how that happened. But whenever we were listening, doing track over track in Jay's house, in the garage, so we were doing My Chains Are Gone, Amazing Grace, My Chains Are Gone, as a mat choir, right? So we were recording literally track over track over track over track. We were going to do it to where there'd be four mats of each part singing. We tried just duplicating them, then offsetting them a little bit, and that didn't work. It still sounded like just...
I saw somebody on YouTube doing the same thing where it was them, and then they sounded like it was them in 4 different parts. They had mirrors.
Yeah, and they have all 4 pictures of themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
That is
They do-
awesome.
and some of their voices are just stunning.
And then, upon playing the other tracks back, while I'm recording another track, I wasn't paying attention. But then he played one of the tracks back by itself without anything, and here's what it sounded like. I'm gone, I've been set free.
Well, because he was just doing.
I was
harmony,
timing. Yeah, I was timing. I
not
was harmony.
but,
It was harmony.
Was it harmony?
Yeah,
Harmony, but what's the backup or?
it was harmony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was harmony. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was going to be a 3-part harmony, and that's how I'd work my way into being able to come in right at the right time. Apparently, I was. And we laughed for like 20 minutes listening to it, and then he would speed it up and slow it down, and like make my voice like a chip.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, he used to do that whenever he had the board right beside him. He was not to be trusted, because he would start doing that. What do they call? What did you call that?
Effects.
Yeah, but the effect was called
Oh, I know.
pitch shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could hear my voice, but at the same time you could hear the and we would sit here and laugh.
It was
and
pretty
laugh
great.
and laugh. Everybody else
You
did
should have
too.
recorded that just for the having funny.
We did record it.
Yeah,
Did you ever put it like on an album?
I think no. But we did get some goofing around. You said the goofing around. I can't remember what it was.
Because
We
you know
had
they
a lot
had
of
those
fun.
side B.
I
or
really
the-
do miss the camaraderie of practicing like that, though.
And recording. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Now
Because I
that-
mean, it was praise and worship.
recording was a struggle though, because what happened was you did the main parts, the melody. Is it right?
Yeah.
The
Well, see,
melody
think
and
about-
the vocals.
Think about what we can do now. We've got
And then we played it back while the drummer added his part. So
got
timing
Adobe
was
Audition
difficult.
now.
What?
We've got
Wow.
Adobe Audition now,
We do.
which is the industry standard audio recording software.
Yeah. How'd you get it? For this?
Our benefactor that
Right.
wants to remain anonymous
Right.
got me the whole Adobe, or got us the whole Adobe suite, the entire thing. Now, once the 1-year subscription comes up, I'm probably going to take a couple of those off that I'll never use, but I'm going to keep Photoshop. I'm going to keep Premiere Pro, because, I mean, I think those you actually don't need to do a monthly subscription for. And then a couple of the, like After Effects, I don't really know if I'm going to
Yeah,
be
we
using.
shouldn't talk about this.
Why?
Because I'm not making my house a studio again. We could
No,
probably,
no. I'm not talking about making your house a studio. I'm just saying we could do it up here.
Yeah. Now that you've got this room.
Right, because you don't need all that equipment anymore. We've got that one digital board. It's tiny,
Yeah.
and you don't have to have speakers set up.
Everything's
for it.
No.
But what about the
compact.
headphones?
We got this headphone jack
Yeah.
right here.
Right.
Everything's
Everything
compact up
you
here.
don't you wouldn't everything that we need is right up here.
Good.
So
I'm
see,
saying, let's do it.
Yeah.
yeah, let's do it. Oh,
So we're glad to have everybody with us today. I actually bit the bullet and I got a 1-month subscription for Epic Times newspaper
Yeah.
because they claim to be real news. So, and I'll be getting one every week, and I'll choose a story out of it to kind of talk about.
I've found some good journalists who do more specific news. So I found a few journalists on
Craig
China.
Beeson, welcome to the show.
China, and an economic journalist. So he studies and he's like one of the premier economic,
thank you, Brandon.
you know.
Yeah, thanks, Brandon. I don't know what you said, but appreciate it.
He's
So he
pushing
has-
the love button.
He
or
has
the heart.
he has what they believe to be some of the best understandings of world economics and how all of this all plays together. So I listen to him a lot. And
Ben Stein,
No, but he describes this stuff. But he also has
he is an economist.
he has interviews with officials
Econominology.
of governments in high secure places and stuff like that, and
Mm-hmm.
he does a lot of banking stuff. He knows all about that. And then another one who understands. He's a Chinese journalist.
Hey,
Right.
Bruno,
So
welcome to the party.
when our relationships
Bruno.
were good with China, he lived in China. He got involved with the government and all kinds of stuff there. And then now he's in Beijing doing journalism there. He's actually out on the street, and he has to do that stuff where you send you do your transmissions through you know, a site that redirects it so that it's not his actual location. They can't find his actual location, so he does a lot of stuff like that. And
Well, I
then
have a
reports
feeling
on it.
Those people, the Chinese people that are protesting, I don't think they're going to stop until they get what they want.
Exactly.
They're not Chinese. Well, they are, but is it Taiwan?
Is it
Taiwan.
the government?
I thought it was in
Chinese
Hong
government.
Kong.
Yeah, it's a Hong Kong. It's in the government of. It's in
Oh,
Hong Kong.
did they start in Hong Kong too?
That's been in Hong
Oh,
Kong
yeah,
this whole
they-
time.
They've
Oh, has
had
it?
huge protests. So
Oh
think
yeah, and we're not
Taiwan
talking.
is too, aren't
And
they?
they've got so many more people in Hong Kong than we. I mean,
over
there's
2
probably
million?
there's probably the same amount of people in Hong Kong as there is in half the United States.
Probably all of the United States.
Probably.
Probably they got quite a few.
I think they say the population back whenever I was in high school.
I
They
think
said
it's a billion.
the population of China was 3 times that of the United States at
Yep,
the time.
I remember hearing that, or
Yeah.
at least
And
something
they're-
like that.
In China, isn't it tiny?
China?
No. China
Big as
is.
the United States.
I knew that. I was just checking to make sure you guys knew that.
Yeah.
Yes.
It doesn't look it on the map because Asia is such an enormous continent.
And you know, I had a discussion with a lady at work last night, and she said she was in the military. She was married to a military man, and they were stationed in Berlin or West Germany when the wall was still up.
Wow.
She said she was there the day that they swung the ball and broke the first part of the wall down.
Wow.
And she was talking about that, and she had me all goosebumping up, and she started tearing up talking about watching the families that had not seen each other for so many years reuniting.
That must have been one heck of a party.
Yeah. That's I can't imagine. I remember whenever they were talking about it being taken down.
Yeah.
And that was George Bush? No, that was Ronald Reagan that set that up, helped
Gorbachev.
broker that deal.
Yeah, it was Gorbachev, right?
Yeah.
Tear down this wall is what I remember him saying.
Gorbachev,
Mr.
tear
Gorba-
down that wall.
I think he called him Mr. Gorbachev. Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
He was very respectful, but he was also forceful. He understood the power of the United States and that they couldn't stand against.
And the media gave him such a hard time too because he was a celebrity before
Yeah.
he got into politics. He was not a president. He was not in politics, really, was he?
No, he was.
He was
he
was an actor.
Mhm.
Yeah, and he's a good actor.
Yeah, he was.
But he had a rough go of it with the media too. So whenever I watched the most, like you can buy his comedy albums, and they're actually from the Correspondence Dinner. Where they get up and roast everybody.
I think I remember seeing a little bit.
He
of
told
that.
a lot of Russian jokes.
Did he?
Yeah, and then he also he gave the media a hard time.
Oh, there's a little clip that I saw where they're holding balloons and a balloon pops and he goes, "Ha, you missed."
Oh yeah, he didn't even flinch.
He just pop, you missed. He kind of laughed at him
because he got
wow.
shot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for him to do that, it's like, what in the world? I mean, that was serious business.
He did get shot, and then didn't he continue to speak after he got shot?
Yeah, he
No,
got
he
shot
got
in the
rushed to
hand.
the hospital.
Who was it?
He got shot in the hand, I think, and then somewhere else.
I'm surprised he didn't get hurt. He probably sustained some injuries.
Wasn't it that guy-
just from the?
It was that guy that had an
Secret
obsession with
Service.
Jodie Foster.
Yes,
did it.
Yes.
All right, so it's about time for a commercial. You guys
Oh
ready?
boy,
Guys ready for a commercial?
Yep.
commercial.
I got to pull my face up here. I had to reset everything.
Oh man.
Everything. All right, so let's see what we got here. You ready?
Yeah.
NaturalSolutionStore.bz.
Got it.
Merge it on over. Hey, everybody, Matt here. Sorry I'm not wearing my suit jacket today, but hey, what can you do? It was cold, so here, let me fix this. Is that better?
That's better. Are
Anyways.
you watching this on YouTube?
No.
Oh, so how did
What?
you know to move that?
I could just tell by where it's at. Anyways, today's show is brought to you by NaturalSolutionStore.bz, where you can find almost anything that you need for your natural solution needs. All right. Super Hemp Balm. I'm gonna have to buy myself a jar of it because my knee is hurting really bad right now. Gots to have it. Gotta have it. Because I think if you have aches and pains, this is a must-have for your medicine cabinet.
I think it heals too.
I think it does too. All natural, it's got all natural essential oils in with it, and it works, folks. I'm telling you, it
I really
works.
Need it. I need it.
Yeah, does a great job. So go online, check it out, www.naturalsolutionstore.bz, and pick yourself up a jar of that Super Hemp Balm today.
.bz.
Easy. Back to you guys.
You're right.
Anyways, so
We're back.
how you doing today, Steve?
A lot better than last night.
Yeah.
You had something going on, huh?
Yeah, I don't know what.
Oh, that-
I haven't had anything like that in quite a while. I mean, I'd started.
I mean, what did you do? Wean yourself off of pain medicine or something?
I don't know if I weaned it. I didn't wean it off. I didn't have any Lyrica, which is like a nerve pain medicine that you take when your nerves are like going out of
Is
whack.
that similar to Neurontin?
It's probably the same thing. In
I don't know, but I didn't have it for a few days. But that's never happened. Even when I weaned off of it before, I was
Maybe you were
like
just having a
tremor.
weird dream.
Well, no, I was actually
No.
I was awake and Rachel was watching me, and my hands were shaking, my knees were shaking.
Did you remember that you were in pain?
Yeah, I was in
Pain will do all kinds of weird stuff to you.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't in pain. It just started. I was fluttering. I was hitting myself. When I say hit myself, I was patting myself. And then all of a sudden I started stuttering. That's what I was doing. So she ended up, I didn't realize it, but she put me to bed. And so
She didn't call an ambulance or anything?
No, she almost called 911 because she thought it was a seizure. And she thought I was going to go into this major convulsion thing, but
You wouldn't have been making any noise talking or anything if you were having a seizure.
right. And I've had that. I had a seizure disorder a few years ago when grand mal seizures wasn't
Well,
pretty.
my biological mother has epilepsy. And back in grand mal, they still call them grand mals. They call them something else. But then they have petit mal seizures, which now they call those partials. She would be in the middle of a sentence, middle of a word. And she'd stop, and her eyes would roll in the back of her head for a second, and then she'd come back right at where she left off, and she never remembered it.
I would just drift off and I would kind of drift off. My eyes would go, and I'd start tasting chocolate or something sweet, and then all of a sudden my eyes would start fluttering, and then I'd fall back, and then actually that's a grand mal, and then the absent seizures are just spaced out where you're just staring and you're not saying a word. You're just zoned out.
You're not seeing anything either.
Right.
Isn't that weird how, like, when certain things happen to your brain, you taste different flavors in your mouth
Yeah.
because it hits certain receptors at that particular.
The brain
Mine
is
just happens to be
phenomenal. My
sweet.
paralysis wasn't because there was a break in my spinal cord. My paralysis that I had was because my brain shut off the lower half of my body. Everything was still connected and could function. My brain just said, we're not going to take these pain signals anymore, and shut it off. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah,
That is amazing.
Yeah.
it is.
People, if you're in enough pain and your brain doesn't actually shut it off in a paralysis way, which paralysis is you don't feel anything, you can't move anything, you can't use any. I mean, it's just like not there. So you don't feel pain or phantom anything. It's just gone. But your brain can get confused after a while if you're in enough pain and
Yeah.
so you might actually be having the pain here in your hand, but your brain will start to accept the message as though it's coming from all different places. So then your hand won't hurt, but your foot will.
It is. I've
That's
heard of
weird.
that. I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Now, I know with heart attacks, you feel it everywhere but your heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's why, like, your shoulder, your neck, your side.
You start doing a clammy, not cold, but it's a cool, clammy, sweaty feel, and you start, you feel the pressure. It's almost like they say an elephant sitting on your chest, and that's where it's at. And then you start sweating, and then you're clammy, and that's where you have that pain right there in the chest. It's like your heart, you said everywhere but your heart. That's true. But my dad had 7 of them, and he went through he had like a triple bypass, quadruple bypass, and he was pretty miserable for a while.
That's scary.
Mm-hmm.
Dad said it was the worst pain he ever had. And then after that, he had shingles, and he said that was the worst pain he ever had.
Shingles is bad.
Yeah, shingles is basically chicken pox on your nerves and stuff.
Yeah.
So
No, thank
I'm
you.
not looking for. I hope I never have shingles.
I had whooping cough. Don't
Yeah.
want, I never
I've had
wished
that
that
too
on
when I was a
anybody.
kid.
Oh man.
Is that where you try to cough and you just sound like you got croup?
You feel like your throat's gonna just come out. Feel
Or-
like you're gonna cough your throat, and
Or you cough so hard you go
Morning,
blind.
Uncle Ray.
yeah.
You,
good to see
you.
ya.
Don't go blind, but you cough so hard that you close your eyes, but you think your eyes are open, but it really you just kind of blank out for a few seconds.
Horrible.
You don't get anything up. Until
Horrible
it starts-
headache, I'm sure.
You don't get anything up out of it until it starts to bleed.
Yep.
And then you get some blood out of it. It's painful.
And I had that for like 6 weeks or something like that.
Nightmare.
I
It's a
didn't have
nightmare.
that long. I don't know how long I had it. It wasn't very long. And you get a fever.
Yep. I had a
High fever.
101, 101.
Yeah, that's because your lungs are bleeding.
No, it's your throat. It's in your esophagus. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's not very fun at all.
It
No.
used to be a common childhood disease. Why I think because I'm 50.
Yeah.
How old are you?
56.
Whoa.
Yeah,
I'm
so-
56.
Whoa!
And it wasn't very long after my childhood that they practically eradicated it.
Yeah.
I mean, people
and
don't get it anymore.
I thought, well, as a child, I got the shots. You get those first shots for all the diseases, and I thought, I'm not going to get anything. Last thing I thought of was whooping cough, and
So you were an anti-vaxxed child?
mm-hmm.
See, no,
Well, they didn't have them as common as like when I was a kid. I got chicken pox.
I
yeah,
never got
I did
that.
too. I chicken pox suck.
We
My
had
whole second grade
measles.
classroom got it except me.
You know, chicken pox is a form of herpes.
No.
Hey, I got to tell you, you don't want these things. If
called
you can
herpes.
get vaccinated and never have these things, you want that vaccination.
It's called
I'm
herpes
just- I'm
simplex
just saying.
encephalitis,
Wow. That's
I believe.
People say those things make you sick. I'm not a very sick
cold
person. I don't
sores.
get
They
sick
say
very
it's
often.
herpes too.
Huh?
The cold
Cold
sores.
sores are
Are
it's it's another herpes simplex, but a lot of times,
Chicken pox?
yeah, chicken pox are a form of
I
herpes.
didn't know that. I knew that cold sores were.
I think
a
it's
form
called
of-
herpes
my
simplex
pediatri-
encephalitis.
My
I know you don't
pediatrician
want it.
told me that
It's
it was
bad.
a herpes, and I'm like, what? I got a cold sore. He said, well, it's another form of herpes, but it's
What is the scientific name for chicken pox?
Varicella zoster virus. Here's a summary from Wikipedia.
That's weird.
Chickenpox is a highly contagious disease caused by the initial infection with varicella zoster virus.
Wow.
It's bad. You get a high fever. You get a headache.
I might be thinking of
you get-
shingles.
You get breakout and sores all over your body. Sores so bad that they scar you.
Yes.
They leak and seep for, I don't know, 3 days or something like that.
3 to 5 days.
Yeah. Oh man, it's horrible. Horrible.
my
And I was
friend
just a
had
little
it.
kid, and your internal
What is
organs
herpes
ache.
simplex encephalitis? See what it says.
According to Journal of Neurology, Neurosurgery, and Psychiatry, herpes simplex virus is a human herpes virus that causes HSV encephalitis, which is the commonest fatal sporadic encephalitis in humans.
Wow. That just sounds bad.
Yeah.
But having the actual symptoms or having those, it's miserable. I mean, you just feel like
You know,
you're going to
I
die.
had
actually.
vaccination though.
No,
wonder how
I
got-
wasn't
I wonder
anti-vax.
how
I
I
did
got
get it.
chickenpox.
Well, okay, so what is your opinion on these anti-vax parents that don't want to vaccinate their children?
I was vaccinated, come to think of it, yes.
I personally think that's quite irresponsible
I do
What-
too.
because, I mean, we're talking about, I mean, if you don't vax your kids, they can contract cholera.
If they want to go back to a time when your lifespan is 40 years, and you know, and I think that's an odd thing. I think these things are coming from somewhere else. These people are indoctrinated themselves. They've
Yeah.
heard information and been convinced of things in a way that is just not accurate, and it's coming from a source that really wants us to die.
Yeah, and then they also get mad whenever like certain like schools and stuff won't let children come to school if they're not vaccinated.
That's true.
And you know, you have parents that are fighting that, and it's like, no, look, this does not have anything to do with social justice. This has to do with you could kill thousands of people
Yeah,
upon
Those-
thousands. You could bring back the Black Plague.
yeah.
You know, and I understand they're afraid that the vaccines cause autism. I have no idea what the research is on that, but I think you're right. They're indoctrinated. That's just like the flat earther people that believe the earth is flat, which
You know,
is
they may make a connection to autism with it, but I don't know. I'm not sure that people understood that very well. I think there's people of all different kinds, autistic people too, some that aren't,
Morning,
as,
Marsha.
don't have it quite as severely, who have been somewhat. I think probably some of our geniuses from all the way back in all of recorded history. Some of the geniuses who did some of the greatest things that we are aware of were probably autistic. in
yeah.
some
Well,
way.
Albert Einstein was autistic.
Really?
He couldn't even tie his own shoes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's new.
No, it's pretty old. He
mean-
he died a long time ago.
Okay, it's new information for me.
Put something heavy on it.
Yeah, just
Let's
go through
You
all of
got
them.
to bring the comedy back.
Well, I tell you,
Well, it's not just that these things can kill you, but they're also horribly painful deaths.
absolutely.
Exactly.
And most of them come with these things come with sores that seep with the virus. If you
Ugh.
get it on you,
Exactly.
Hey,
it
Scott,
absorbs into
Scooter.
your skin. Well, I'm not really sure exactly. Some of them are even airborne.
Oh,
you
yeah.
cough, it goes into the air, and somebody breathes it, and they get it.
Yeah.
These are not good things. These are things that you don't want to come back. I think it's coming down from a source that wants the 40-year lifespan.
That's why a lot of people now are using, even, I'm glad they do, the restaurants all use gloves. Even in Panera Bread, I was in there, and they're using gloves just to hand people plates. They're not.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, no, and
and I'm glad they are.
Those are advances that have expanded our life,
But
life
I'm glad they're doing
expectancy.
that because that shows that they're taking care of themselves, but let the customers know that you're important. I don't want to give you anything, and they're, of course, the food. You don't want to contaminate the food either.
no, well, that's the best food.
You know what bothers me the most about these people that are in these circles of hating humanity is that they all take advantage of of most of the advances that have brought us these luxuries. You know what I mean? And the people who are the most aggressive about it are the people who don't work, live in mom's basement, and take advantage of all of the things they eat, the white bread, and you know what I mean. They're taking advantage and living off of all of these advances of technology that have allowed us to not have to work so hard and be able to devote some of our time to family, to thinking about things in a more, you know, thinking about things more deeply and to discover a lot of things. You know, those are all things that came from advances that gave us time and freedom. You know, these people, they're you know, look, get out of here, okay? Go find your little piece of land and farm it and live off of it. But you can't, because none of them will work hard enough to do that.
No.
You know?
Right. And
and if you really work hard enough to buy the piece of land and retire early, and then do it and prove it to me.
I mean, look at the outbreak of polio.
Yeah.
That killed what, hundreds of thousands of people?
They just didn't have anything to help them.
No. And then they came up with the polio vaccine. And that's part of one of the, I mean, when you're a baby, you get shot up with a whole bunch of stuff.
Back in the 1800s, you know, early 1900s, 1800s.
The Black Plague.
Yep, they died
No, that
real
wasn't the
quickly. I mean,
1800s.
there's nothing the doctors could do once you got
Yeah,
it.
could you imagine? Oh, man, it's like, oh, I'm getting a cold. All right, call the coroner.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, and they're against garbage dumps and they're against sewage treatment plants because they spill into creeks. And yet they have these things where they go out and gather and they're all burying their crap within a certain, you know, and okay, so they got to stay a certain distance away from the water sources. So it doesn't, you know
What about the underground water sources?
You know what? Stay there and keep living like that. That stuff will leach into that water source and you will all die.
E. coli.
Yep.
If Springfield didn't have a sewage treatment plant, you got 250,000 people who have to live close to a water source. I mean, if they really wanted to go back and live like they're against all of these things, go out and live next to a creek and bury all your crap in holes. And when your populations get high enough, you're all going to die of cholera. You're all going to die of dysentery, and which are horrible,
Horribly painful
illness, deaths.
Cholera itself is, you basically
nasty.
crap yourself to death.
Yeah. And not just
It
like,
causes your intestines to
it's
bleed,
not just
doesn't
everything
it?
moving all real comfortably, just moving through and you're dehydrating.
That's why your
It's
fecal matter is
painful.
black whenever you have cholera. They called it the black poo
Yeah,
back in the day.
because
It's
of blood. Yeah.
yeah, the blood. Because all right, they say
And I don't know real. I mean, I haven't researched all of these things. Like, I don't know exactly.
the
what
views
it
and
is,
opinions expressed on this show are
that
not the views and
cholera
opinions of
is.
Acts Ministry, Acts Media Group, or any of its subsidiary subordinates.
Yeah,
Amen.
they're against trash dumps, you know, and all this. That's just insane. These things all developed because without them,
We would all,
people were getting sick
yeah,
and dying,
yeah.
kicking garbage and trash around.
Well, I mean, look.
we could do better, though, and I'm not saying that we should just keep things the way they are.
Black
we should
Plague.
continue to do better.
The Black Plague was basically was it cholera?
I
think
so.
that's another name for it.
Yeah,
Or
because
dysentery,
and
something like that.
dysentery. Yeah, it took how many people did that kill? Like a third of the world population or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was all because people, crap seeping into the water supply.
I think ultimately it was a result of advances in farming technology, and they were able to support more humanity and expand life. People were able to live longer, so people were able to move into cities and not have to farm all day. And so that's when people started to move into smaller areas. That's when their feces and stuff like that. But they didn't even know that until all of a sudden, what's going on? I think I don't like a 40-year life expectancy. You know what? I didn't even start to get smarter until I was 40. And if
Right.
that's the life expectancy, you know where I am on that totem pole? I'm at the bottom. Now, I like to call it the foundation because it sounds better. But really, it's just the bottom.
Truly.
Just means you have a bunch of people standing on your back, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But I have fun.
Yeah, you
So-
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank God for all these advances that have allowed me to live past 40.
Dude, I had 4 hernias.
Me too.
All right.
for.
They were able to repair them. You know what happened when people got hernias back in the day? They lived with them until it strangulated and they died.
People wouldn't even be able to
Oh,
think
man.
about surgery if they had to farm for their own food.
They
All these
They used to
geniuses and
bloodlet.
People who
Really?
advanced science. and-
Bloodlet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever someone came into that's where the red stripe on the barber pole is, because that lets you know that they do bloodletting there. If someone is sick, they believe that the sickness is in their blood, so they drain their blood out of their body.
And they were probably right. You know, a lot of those sicknesses are in the
interesting.
blood.
But it also gets rid of all the white cells as well.
Yeah.
So it's
well,
pretty much, you know,
Your
Anemic.
blood-
put a little
bloodless
bit of this
person.
rubbing alcohol in this water so we can put that fire out.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So I thank God for those things, and I
Yeah.
think people should be more grateful for them and stop trying to destroy civilization and kill us all.
yeah,
You
and
know?
I know it's just basically people wanting to make a point that they can't be told what to do; they're going to do what they want. But think about your child, okay? Think about your child. Do you want your child dying a horrible, painful death before they even get 4 years old?
No, of course not.
You want to watch your child waste away and just
You know,
poo themselves to death?
You know, we should understand these things better, though, and we
We
make
need to get
advan-
an anti-vaxxer on here to talk with us.
that
Look,
that would be good.
we make advances in technology. Usually, it's a jump ahead. Usually, it's a jump.
Hi, Marty.
So you're building the dam.
Marty?
You got to cut this thing off at the.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's a big jump. Now there's somewhere in between there where we can get smarter and have better advances, where we can take down that wall, that cut everything off at that point, and maybe do things a little bit better, so it's not necessary to have vaccines. Right? Maybe we could understand disease better, and we could. Find out how it's transmitted, where it really comes from, and how it starts, and avoid those things like, wearing the gloves and washing your hands and all these things that we should know. I think we can do things better. Our dumps, they're polluted with a bunch of stuff that really shouldn't be there,
Right.
and we could do better at some things like that, and I think we should. So I agree with them in those ways. But you know what? If you hate humanity so much and you want us all to die, just go die and leave me alone. You know what I mean? If you think humanity should die, just go die. Save the planet. Go die.
You know,
Right?
wow, that was quite.
And,
Blunt.
and praise the
Yes.
Lord. When you meet him, tell him I said hello. I'll be there soon.
Yeah.
Look,
But pray to God it's not because of cholera
no
or dysentery or
Yeah, I
Or-
don't want that.
Flint, Flint, Michigan had a really serious water problem for a while, and I don't know how that's going. I've got friends that live in that
they
area.
have a pretty serious everything problem there in Flint, Michigan, don't they?
Yeah, the murder rate was quite high,
Yeah.
and higher than Detroit.
Well, we beat them. We beat both of those out one year. Springfield did.
Yeah,
Most murders per capita, per the amount of people.
yeah.
So,
I just think all these people ought to just, and I don't mean go die. I'm saying just, go out into the wilderness and start breaking ground, plant your food, and then starve to death before it grows, and the planet will be saved. Maybe that's rude. Maybe that's
Wow.
bad. All right, these are not.
All right,
wow,
let's
that was his views and opinions, folks.
let's.
But it's just craziness. I'm saying it's craziness, don't you think?
It is crazy, and
If you believe in that stuff, go do it. Don't
bad thing
suck
is
off
they're
to society's advances
they're
and then claim
turning
to
it
be
into
so
a social
noble.
issue. It's turned into a social issue.
Exactly.
It's about I don't want to be forced to put those chemicals in my child. I understand. I understand it. You don't enjoy the thought of putting basically wore out versions of the bacteria or the infection or the virus, right? They're basically dead,
right.
but your body builds up, what do you call those things? Antibodies
Yeah.
against them. Like tetanus.
Yes.
Have you ever seen what happens to people with tetanus? Their body folds itself in half.
Botulism.
Every single muscle in your body. Like I've seen pictures of people with tetanus, and they look like like the bottom part of a rocking horse.
Wow.
And and it breaks all the muscles and bones and stuff if it's bad enough.
So that's why you get the tetanus shot.
That's why. You know what? Give me 20 of them if that's what it takes.
Yep, I've had a. But your arm might be a little sore from the tetanus.
But at least you're not folding yourself in half
Right.
backwards.
I would rather be sore for a while than to have the flux
The flux capacitor.
Yes.
You know what? And I am truly thankful for all these advances, for our police, our military, all these things that these movements are trying to eliminate. And I'm grateful that these people can be so naive that they don't understand the pain and the suffering that we've avoided and helped. Not we, and I can't take credit for any of it.
Well, you know what they say. Those who don't remember their history are doomed to repeat it.
Well, they don't
I've heard
think
it
they
so
even
many
have
times.
it. Yeah.
It's
I
true.
mean, look at what happened with Israel. The Jewish people in the desert. How many times did they go so long and then start messing up again and then have to get set right again?
It wasn't long.
And then they start questioning and doubting. You know what I'm talking about. It's like, hey, oh no, Moses is gone. We need to have something to worship. So they built a golden calf out of all the gold that was given to them.
Yep.
They started worshiping it. And Aaron,
Made it.
yeah, well, he said they were all against me. What was I to do?
He kind of became the coward,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Yeah.
Having courage and faith in God can turn things around in your environment and in your social surroundings. I mean, it really can. You can really make a difference by saying, no, you know what I believe? I believe the Word of God is true, and this is what it says, and I believe that that's the truth. And people are like, you're
Amen.
crazy. Well, then they think we're naive. But the thing is, you see that it can turn things around and change things
Yes,
for the
Linda,
better.
lockjaw is a result of tetanus.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's another word for it. I mean, your jaw does lock, and the rest of your body does. You know,
What do you do? I mean, you crush your teeth in your own head, you know.
well, I mean, yeah, because there's nothing you do because all of your muscles
the
spasm.
thing is, these
and
people have
flex.
never actually seen these things.
It's like a
So they
full
don't-
body cramp, but stronger.
Yeah, I mean, well,
Like imagine every single muscle in your body cramping at once, specifically the ones in your back, pulling you, backwards. When I
Yeah.
say fold you in half, I don't mean like curl you over. I mean like bend you over backwards and bends up.
Yes.
break your back.
It is so creepy.
So, folks, get your immunizations.
Yeah,
please.
really. Yeah.
It'll really save your life, but it'll be worth it.
Was I being too harsh by saying go die? You know,
That's why it was
I
your
apologize. I apologize to be so blunt. But I shouldn't.
Yeah,
be
what
so
about
blunt.
Germany, Jim? He says, how about Germany? There was probably some sort of sickness that went through Germany too. I'm assuming.
When?
Germany's not in Europe, is it?
Yeah,
Okay, good. Geography is not my forte.
it's like a cornerstone of Europe.
Is it?
It is. Surprise.
Learn something new every day.
Germany, France, Italy, Spain. I think they are the primary.
And Britain, right? That's part of Europe, right?
I thought
They're trying to get out of the
don't-
European Union.
They're an island of their. They're an island to themselves, like Texas.
There you go, Texas. Big shout out to our Texan friends. It is a different country there in Texas.
We
I've
love you,
been there, it
Texas.
is. I kind of like it. It's charming.
Except for the ground.
People are like-
during the summertime.
Everything's big in Texas. you
We
know.
never, yeah, and they're very proud of that. The ground cracks, it dries up and cracks because when there's no. And when I was in San Marcos, Texas, whenever I was going to the Gary Job Corps Center of San Marcos, Texas, every time right before it would rain, flying ants supposedly. I mean,
Swarming.
swarms of them. Come to find out, they're not ants; they're termites, which is even better.
Exactly.
Well, at least they don't bite humans.
No, but they
No.
were still creepy looking.
They still they do a great job on the wood.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what Jim Wanning says.
Yeah,
Talking
they sure
about
do.
learning from history, the Holocaust did happen. That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't forget that. And there are even people that say the Holocaust didn't really happen.
I just heard this last night on Facebook where somebody said that the Holocaust. Tell your kids that the Holocaust never happened.
Yeah, that's so disrespectful to the millions
I
of
saw
people
that
that
on
lost.
Facebook last
Not
night.
just the Jews either, but there were Germans and Russia. I mean, on all sides, there was so much loss of life. But what happened to the Jewish people was a travesty. It was
It was to the world.
Well,
Yeah,
it
it
happened
was.
to the world.
In-
and it would have kept going if we didn't step in. If we didn't band together.
Right in Michigan, they have a Holocaust museum, and I went through it, and believe me, I came out of there with.
And thank you,
very
Russia,
wet
for all
eyes.
your help as well.
I mean,
if you're in
it
Russia,
really showed the true story of the Holocaust, and you have to go through a museum to really understand the history, because then that way if you have a heart, you're going to come out of there a different person, knowing about what happened.
yeah. I would like to go to Germany. I've never been out of the country
My dad has, but
except
I
to
haven't.
Texas.
My dad was in World War II, but
Now, I would just say out there, look, God is God is real, and He's true. We all have a measure of faith. We all wonder who this higher power is. We see it working around us in our lives, and I've
I
never
agree
met
with
an
that, Jim.
atheist who didn't say that. Look, if you are anything like human, and you do things you know you shouldn't, if you don't do things that you know you should, you're equipped right there to know that you're a sinner.
Yeah.
amen.
Ephesians chapter 1 verse 18 is today's scripture of the day. The eyes of your understanding being enlightened, that you may know what is the hope of his calling. What are the riches of the glory of his inheritance in the saints? Ephesians 1:18. So,
Yep.
it's about time for us to get out of here.
Yeah.
Already.
Jesus Christ is Lord.
Well,
Amen.
we're a little bit early. We got a couple minutes left.
Yeah. Be grateful for that, right?
Yeah.
Be grateful for the 2 minutes, you mean?
Yeah,
No,
you
I
know,
mean for
and even
Jesus.
then, yes.
You agree?
Our pastor gave a sermon one time, and he talked about, how often have you said, "Lord, thank you for toilet paper."
Yeah.
It's true.
If
It sounds funny, but it's true.
what was the hypothetical was, what would happen if everything that you didn't thank God for went away?
We'd be in trouble.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we need to thank Him for every single thing and
It
every.
sounds funny, but you have to thank God for everything, because if it wasn't for what He's done for us and what He's done,
Every breath is a miracle.
exactly.
Take it for granted.
Every breath is a gift from God.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we do take it for granted because we even do it while we sleep. Unless you have sleep apnea, then you don't do it as much. So,
And everyone knows this.
yeah.
I think people deny it because the repentance is what scares them, because of that very thing. We do what we know we shouldn't. We
Yeah.
don't do what we know we should. And that's a continuing human condition. So even if you repent and give your life to Jesus, this is a battle for the rest of your life. But I'm telling you, even if you don't, you're going to battle it for the rest of your life. Give
Yeah.
glory to the God that made us, and
Absolutely.
who loves us and wants to be reconnected to us. Accept the forgiveness and the sacrifice of Jesus Christ, that He paid for that very thing
Yeah.
that
died
you
on the
suffer
cross.
with, that sinful nature that you suffer with, that is, the trouble in your life that you cause. Jesus paid for it.
Yeah, He did. And I believe He felt every sin
I bet you he
and
did.
every punishment for every sin that He died for.
And His Spirit is here with us. You can experience that and know that He's here, that He's with us, that He can touch us, and that He loves us.
All right, well, that noise means that it's time for us to get out of here. Be sure and tune in right up next with Dr. Marty Hamilton and the Basics of Faith, followed by
Great show.
Dr. Paul
Gotta see
Collins and his wife Nancy, and I don't know who their guest is going to be, but we'll figure that out in a second, with The Happy Hour. Friendliest show on radio, the best look on Facebook, and I can't rhyme as
And
good
all the other things
as
it says.
Twitter,
Dr.
and
Paul.
YouTube,
and Twitter and YouTube. Yeah, Glitter, Twitter.
Just tune in. You'll
Tune
get
in.
to
It's
see
going to
it.
be fun.
You'll get to hear it.
So until then, my friends, God bless you and keep you. We love you. My name is Matt,
My name is Jay.
My name is Steve.
and this has been
The
Morning
Drive. .bz.
.bz.